I'm Rosie from Teeny Tinkers.
And I'm Pablo from Hopper Creations.
And you're listening to /watch.
I mean, you're doing both things.
You're listening and watching to the 4th episode of Unhinged, a doll collector podcast. Yeah!
Everyone has been claiming us to have a guest, and we finally have it.
Oh, like literally everybody. Are you going to have guests soon? Is there going to be guests? It's like, let us establish a vibe.
Exactly.
But we have a guest.
It's me. Hi, I'm Anna.
Woo!
Welcome.
So you might recognize her if you are in the BJD hobby space, but this is Merle of MagicBabeBJDs. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. All of her information will be linked below in the description.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Anna. Welcome. We're international today, so this is kind of cool because we're in Canada, Spain, and Germany right now. So,
Merle, what are we talking about today?
we're talking about dolls of our past.
We thought it'd be a lot of fun to kind of look into the dolls we had as kids, the dolls we had, like, or wanted as kids, all these kind of things, especially being from 3 different countries. Because, like, what I had might not have been available, and then what they had might not have been available. Like, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, the European
pause,
market is not good.
No, it's never been good.
Aw. Let's kind of maybe talk about the first doll that you remember having that you, like, really loved.
I was gonna say, so when I was a child, I was not, of course, as being a boy, I was not the one to be gifted dolls. However, I think at some point, I got some, like, I think people in America also had these kind of like dolls that were shaped into muffins or something like that had like a skirt that went like this, like a rabbity skirt. They were, okay, so you would bought them as a cupcake, as a muffin.
Was it like a Polly Pocket?
Sort of like, they were a muffin, and you could remove the top and make it like a hat, and then the skirt will do, because the paper around was like gravity, and it would convert into some sort of skirt, and the doll was in the inside. And that was my first doll that I can remember. I even have photos. I don't know where they are, but I used to bring her into my swimming pool. I used to have her all the time in my hand.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm gonna need you to insert some images because
Yeah,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I will, don't worry.
I'm very much picturing like this like cupcake doll where it's got like a head and its arms are coming out of this like cupcake wrapper. Like, this is what I'm envisioning.
Yeah, it was like that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
The paper would go like under, and it would turn into some sort of skirt.
Oh, cute. Okay. Yeah. I see it.
Interesting.
What about you, Merle?
Oh, for me, it was definitely Barbie. There's a story that my mom hated Barbie. She was more into art dolls and like Kate Kuza, and she used to make mohair teddy bears. And she was more into the whole Waldorf kind of organic doll things. And so she was like, no Barbies for my girls. I have a 5-year older sister. And so we didn't get any Barbies. And when I was little, I could hardly talk. My whole family, they ganged up on my mom, and they all gifted my sister and me Barbies. And so my mom was like, no, why Barbies? And me hardly being able to talk, I unwrapped my Barbie. I'm like, ooh, a hula Barbie.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I wish I still had that doll because I checked her out and I was like, oh, she was gorgeous.
That's how I feel about my first doll too. My first doll was very much like my first like love in like other media, and that was Sailor Moon. Like, I had like a Sailor Moon obsession. Like, my mom used to do my hair like Sailor Moon, which doesn't make sense because I have like black hair. So like it was like, who are you? What are you trying to do? Why do you have buns on your head? But I had like the full set of like the Sailor Moon, like, I don't know if they were Barbies. I don't think so, but like, I had the ugly versions because there was like the cute versions from Japan, and then there was the Americanized versions, and I had the ugly ones, but I still love them, and like, I still wish I had them too. Except for when I go to look at them secondhand, like, because I'm like, I would love to have that. They're
expensive.
like $200 a doll,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh.
And they're ugly.
No.
I'm sorry.
And they're ugly!
It's like Wings Club dolls. I'm like,
Yeah. I'm like,
I'm not spending 30 euros on this secondhand.
No, it's like, this is not what I remember. I'm going to keep it as the good memory in my head. It was cuter in my mind. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
So who was the person that introduced you guys into dolls, or that got your first doll or something like that? Like, do you have any remember? Like, because we were very little, I have to say.
I would have been like 5. I'm pretty sure it would have been a gift from my mom. That seems like something like a birthday gift my mom would have got me. But I think I got it when I was like, 4 or 5. So like, I don't remember exactly, sadly.
I was, like I said, it was something around 2 or 3. So I don't even remember that anymore. I just remember being told it was our family who gifted her to us.
Nice.
So since
How about you, Pablo?
Since I was kind of like in my home, I was not the one to be gifted dolls. I used to edit my sister dolls. So whenever my sister had a doll that they didn't want or anything like that, I used to receive them. And I actually have a pretty funny story about that. On one birthday, my sister got 2 doubles of 2 Barbie dolls that were like this, I don't know exactly what doll it was, but it was like this kind of kindergarten teacher, whatever. And my parents didn't want me to get it, but I ended up like doing my thing, and I ended up receiving it. And I had to go to the doctor because of something. At the moment I got home, I saw my sister under the table cutting her hair. And it was like, there's no way.
Wow.
For once I have a first-hand doll, and my sister just ruined it.
Wow. Give me her address right now, Pablo.
I have PTSD from that.
Oh my gosh, my sister's traumatized because of that too, because I used to cut our Barbie's hair, and she's like, no!
Oh my gosh. I mean, I was the sister who cut their own Barbie's hair. My childhood trauma from my doll is so we had this show in Canada called The Big Comfy Couch. Okay. Well, it had, I guess it was the 90s. And it's basically this like clown, but not scary. Well, a little scary, but like not scary in the like Pennywise way.
Okay.
She's cute, and she has this like insane big couch. And it's her, and then she's got a doll named Molly, who's kind of like a cotton doll with like yarn hair in a blue dress. So I had a Molly from The Big Comfy Couch, and she was like maybe 30, 40 centimeters. And I took her like literally everywhere, like even more so than like the Sailor Moon dolls. Like she was like a stuffy at the same time. So she came everywhere with me. So after a couple years of me like literally dragging her like through the mud, literally, I remember that my parents, so my dad was having like a campfire, like a bonfire. That's like a very common Canada, Ontario like moment. Like we all sit around a fire. It's very cozy, very kumbaya, very, very nice. Except this time it was not kumbaya. My brother was like a little older than me, and he was like making fun of her because she was like gross, and I mean like fair enough, she was pretty gross. So like he was calling her babyish, and my dad, who sucks, was just ignoring it because dads, am I right?
Exactly. Men.
I was like upset, so I went inside to like wipe my little baby tears, and like I came out and my brother had Molly and he was just like tossing her around, and then he like dunked her in the bonfire, and I just like watched her little like yarn hair go up into flames, and it was very
It's
upsetting.
awful.
Yeah, and like R.I.P. Molly.
Mm.
The end of an era.
Not an era. Poor thing.
The era of happiness.
Seems like our families were awful with us playing with dolls. I'm glad
Or
we
like
have something in
specific
common.
dolls. Trauma.
Trauma.
We're all just trauma bonding.
I think my sister's the one that's traumatized from me, what I did to our Barbies.
Oh my god. Were all your Barbies like weird Barbie?
No, it's like, it was a mix out of like, ooh, they're so gorgeous, I love them, and her finding the decapitated naked Barbies in our sandbox and then grass growing out of the hair, because I was like playing in it and then I forgot about them and then they got lost.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Stop. Were there any other, like, besides like your obvious, like your first doll and stuff, like, were there other dolls you had or like that you remember like your friends having maybe that like you really liked from your era and your location, I guess? Any more baked goods dolls, Pablo?
So, I gotta say that my fixation, I think it's called, was around any kind of aerial doll. I've always dreamed of somehow receiving an aerial doll. I even remember some of my sister's friends having like this big Barbie doll that I guess used to talk or something, and I was so like envy of that. And I remember every year after year, I used to put it on my Christmas card. I never got it. Never. So now I have a whole place for aerial dolls in my bedroom. Cause you know,
I love that.
I guess as a little boy, my parents didn't want me to turn gay. And look at me now, doing dolls for a living.
Yeah, like that's good. I don't think that ever works out the way they think it's gonna work out.
Exactly.
I don't think there was a hope for me because like all of my Barbies were lesbians, and like Ken who, like Ken who.
I mean, honestly, from our youth, Ken was not gorgeous.
No,
It's
it
like,
was not.
I remember that my sister was gifted when we were little, and even she was like, yeah, no, and he ended up in the trash.
But like, why is Ken like made to the male gaze? Do you know what I mean? Like, if they were making like a Ken doll for women, he would be like sensitive and wearing glasses. I think, like, I don't know, like I feel like he'd be like he'd work at a library. Do you know what I mean? Like. He'd have, like, random tattoos. I'm, like, just describing my type. But, like...
Wait, doesn't your husband have glasses?
Shh.
Oh.
But, like, Ken is like, I'm a man from the beach. And I'm just like, who is this for?
Yeah, no,
Who is this for?
he kind of like the David Hasselhoffs. Like,
Yes, exactly.
It's like the... I mean, now they got better, but back then, they just... Yeah. I don't know. That's why I always just had my Barbie dating all my stuffed animals, because they were more handsome.
Is there something you want to tell us, Merle?
Well, mine were...
Next episode.
Mine were...
We discuss furries.
Sophie and the hobby is the next episode.
Well, you asked what dolls and that. It's like, I had my Barbie girls, and then they were dating stuffed animals.
I love that. I love that for them, honestly.
So I find it funny that you guys are girls are talking about like how Ken should have been, because like my sister, I used to receive Action Man, right, as a boy. I was actually playing with my sister dolls, and she was playing with my Action Mans, and I think it's because she really also liked that kind of vibe for a man doll. So, you know, maybe if they did Ken on a more like, more like adventurous type of guy or something like that, it would have been better for the Barbie brand, actually.
You know what's kind of funny though is like if you think like if your parents were worried about you being gay, instead of getting you like a pretty lady to look at, they're like, here's a strong man. Like maybe
I used to hate Action Man, but there was one guy with like a tiny ponytail that was green. He was hideous. He was so ugly, but I loved him because I could play with his hair. I will insert a photo or something. You will laugh at me.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I was like, are you describing your type? You're like, I like ugly guys with little ponytails. That's what I like.
I mean, a little bit later, the from Disney, the what's his name? The guy from the
like Beast?
No, I'm sorry, he's ugly. It was like I'm sorry, he was like No, from Esmeralda.
Quasimodo.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Quasimodo. The blonde guy with the goatee. Fetus?
Yeah, I know.
Fetus?
Yeah.
He was handsome. Like, that was a handsome boy doll.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like,
but definitely get it. Yeah.
You on a kind of side quest on that. You guys ever watch Hunchback of Notre Dame? Like as an adult, and you're just like, this is so, what is happening?
Especially that old man that wanted Esmeralda somehow in his bed.
Like racist.
But he speaks gay all around.
Yeah, yeah,
it's like
it's true.
You're confused.
Yeah, he was...
yeah.
It's just a phrase.
I mean, it was I rewatched it, I was like, whoa, this is intense. I never realized it was this intense.
Yeah, like, sometimes I rewatch the movies and I'm just like, because I have kids too, and it's just like, whoa. But, a baby, you're gonna throw the baby in a well? Like, I was just like, this is a lot for a kid's movie. Like,
but I feel like we watched it, we survived it, we didn't, like, I don't know, we, adults look at stuff differently than kids do anyways.
Absolutely.
And I kind of feel like media nowadays is very, like, washed out, clean, it's, like, boring. So, I don't know.
I do agree that, like, I feel like our themes are less dark, but I also feel like kids' movies now like to get you in the feels a lot more. Like Onward, like Pixar is just coming for the throat. Like they just want everyone to cry. So
yeah,
it's just a different kind of pain, I guess.
I was actually talking with a friend yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, I want to watch Inside Out 2." But he was saying something like it's too adult for kids, and it was like, are you kidding me? Inside Out 2, it's too adult for kids to understand. Do you think that kids are stupid?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, no, they get it.
But he's 25, so I was like, okay, you didn't live in my era of Disney, of course.
A Land Before
Still
Time.
a child.
I mean, we got traumatized. There's a reason why millennials are in therapy and stuff. I mean, we grew up with what's it called? Land Before Time and that other Husky movie and The Secret of Nim. Those were all very dark movies.
Toby.
Oh, Watership Down? Did you guys see Watership Down?
Watership
No.
Down?
It's like these rabbits. Oh my god, like it's horrifying. Like, strong recommend if you want to be like, as children, like, it's hardcore. Like, it's a lot.
Isn't that animal movie by the river or something?
Yes, but it's like, I remember that as like a, like, cute, like, We Will Triumph story, but you watch it back and you're like, this is so violent. Like, this is a lot.
There was a show that was kind of in that direction. I watched it as a kid, and it was like snakes eating each other and like being very realistic and like political, as in like, let's, like, people, you're destroying nature, let's watch out for, like, the animal kingdom. And I was just sitting there like, so
oh my gosh, yeah. So I think we've side quested.
Yeah, we did like last time. What did you say that you were dolphin?
Yeah, so like other dolls and stuff from when you were a kid, I guess, but like I was gonna talk about Polly Pockets. Did you guys have
Yes.
Polly Pocket?
Yes.
Okay. So the Polly Pockets of the elite Polly Pockets, come for me if you disagree, but are the 90s pastel true tiny Polly Pockets.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make them like that anymore. Like they
don't.
were so cute and detailed. Like I don't know. I
They
love
were
them.
really cute.
I never understood the gimmick behind. Like, how do they do it? Like
Magic. It's magic. Oh my gosh. Like I had that version of them, and I also had the first iterations of like the little ones with the rubber clothes. They were like this big. They weren't as cute, but you know they were delicious. So like their clothes, I chewed the clothes.
Me too.
The squeak in your teeth here.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
I used to do the same, to be honest. I really love that era of Polly Pocket, I have to say. Even though you think the other one was good, that I could change even the hair. I think there was some sort of one with change hair.
Yeah, it's more customizable.
Yeah,
More like we do now.
I didn't have them, but I played at a friend's house, and I always had to be careful that I didn't accidentally tore up the little clothing pieces trying to undress and dress her.
Mm-hmm.
You were awful with those.
I wasn't!
Oh my god. Shade.
I mean, did you not have that problem? Those tiny little rubber pieces after like playing with them like hours and hours that they would get frail?
I don't remember that, and I like chewed mine. I remember wishing I could. I was like, why are my teeth not powerful enough?
Good thing you didn't eat them.
Yeah, it's a pretty good thing I didn't eat them. Like swallow. In my digestive tract 20 years later, like it's a part of me now. It just now I'm just probably full of microplastics, you know.
That and resins.
Oh god, macroplastic. I don't know. I'll go sit in the sun and it will cure under my skin. It'll be okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So scary.
And from that big pandemic, all that disinfecting also cured.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm cleansed now. From all the hand sanitizer, it's okay. Oh my gosh. Imagine.
No. Now
So
for me it
Did
was.
you guys?
For me it was I remember I had a Raggedy Ann doll, but I never really played with her. She was pretty big. I just had her always like sitting in my room. And I also remember I had a couple of Cabbage Patch, and I got them. I remember I was we lived multiple times in the USA, in the States, and I remember went into this thrift shop, and I don't know if it just seemed like it, and they had a big shelf full of Cabbage Patch dolls, and I was like looking at them, they're low-key ugly. But
they're ugly.
They was like, ooh, but I still loved it, and I played with it, and I remember one of them had like a hole for a binky or for a bottle, and do you know ring pops? I would always eat the candy and then give the Cabbage Patch doll the little ring pop.
Oh,
That's
cute.
nice.
And I had a baby born. My mom had to throw that one away because the gimmick of baby born, I don't know if you're familiar with it, you can feed it.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom said it was nasty after a while. And yeah.
Yeah, there's probably so much mold in those things. Like,
Was like Baby Born a brand in America?
yes, we had that.
Okay. Baby born, baby born.
Baby born. Yep. I remember I had a Cabbage Patch, and I just remember being so scandalized that, like, I had this one that was like a baby, and you like its clothes were like one with the doll. Like you couldn't take its clothes off. When you pulled the butt flap down, I remember being like so scandalized that it had Cabbage Patch like on its butt in like a blue black, so it looked like a tattoo, and I'm like, this is a child. A child. Like,
a child.
A child with a butt tattoo? Like, who did this? I'm gonna need their address. No, I'm just kidding. Like, oh my god. But yeah, like, that's my recollection of Cabbage Patch dolls. Oh gosh.
They still exist. Like the brand still makes, and I think there's some sort. I saw on one TikTok that there was some sort of shop where they had all of them under some sort of tree, kind of like doing like they were being born.
Oh my god.
And I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
Like a lot of lore inside of all that like thing. I don't know. It was so cool. Like you go to Legoland or you go to any other like toy factory or something, and they have that, and I thought it was very intricate. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. It's very cool. The other doll, I guess I remember, like, it's not even like a specific doll, it's just like a kind of funny doll story, I guess. Is, if it's funny to you, I don't know, we'll see. Me and my cousin laugh about this a lot, but it was my cousin, who's like a couple years older than me, and then my other cousin who's like a year younger than me. And my grandma would just like buy these random 3-packs of dolls. And there'd be like a blonde, a brunette, and a ginger, like a redhead, in like every pack. And my younger cousin always got the blonde, blue-eyed one, like every single time. And we were all like, could we like maybe switch it up a little? And like, but she always wanted the blonde, blue-eyed one, so she always got it. And she was the youngest, so. And then my other cousin always got the ginger. She was the actual blonde in the family, though. But she like went on to like marry a ginger and have like 3 babies with him. So like, I mean, maybe my grandma just knew something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think my grandma just knew something we didn't. She was like, yes, you will have ginger children. Yeah, I'm preparing you. And then I always got the brunette one, and I actually like sometimes wonder if like that's why all my, like, the dolls I make now are, like, such weirdos. Sorry, Penelope here, but they're all, like, weirdos. And I think it's because maybe I just had, like, same face syndrome with all my dolls as a kid. Like, they were always, even my Cabbage Patches were, like, dark hair, dark eyes. Like, it was, like, a lot of the same doll in different fonts, but I was, like, typecast for dolls.
Yeah.
Like...
Do you remember the Esprit dolls? Have you ever seen those?
What?
Do you know the brand Esprit? Or is it just like
No.
I don't know, a North European thingy? But it's a clothing company, and they used to make dolls, and they were these like knockoff Barbies. The dolls were fine, but they had these really nice intricate clothing pieces. My sister and I both had one. Those were really cool.
You know what, when you said...
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
I know the brand now.
I think I know the brand, but I think I've, up until this moment in my life, today I learned that it's Esprit and not E-Spirit, if that's what we're talking about. So today I learned.
Oh, well, I mean, Germans are really funny about pronouncing English things. So I was somewhere and they're like, I was talking about, oh yeah, I like some of the songs from Depeche Mode, and they're like, no, it's Depeche Mode. I'm like, no, it's Depeche Mode, and they really tried to gaslight me into believing it's Depeche Mode.
Oh.
I
like
Depeche
Mode.
Depeche Mode. Yeah, or Nike. They always say Nike in Germany.
We also say Nike.
But it's Nike.
Yeah, it's Nike here, but yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, most people, we are, like, French and English split in Canada, but, like, if you go to Quebec, which is, like, our really French province, it would be, like, Depeche, I don't know, like, it would, I don't know. My French is atrocious. Don't ask me, actually.
Mine is non-existent. I only can say it, where's the toilet? That's it. And then I wouldn't even know where it is because they would say it in French. And I don't understand it.
I can only say eau de toilette.
Ooh, that's perfume, but it's toilet water. I love that. Toilet water.
How did you guys play with your dolls? Because you're like, now you have the idea that I was like really rough with my dolls, which I wasn't.
I was kidding. It's not, I mean, we were kids, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I lost the shoes the minute I got the doll. The shoes were gone. I don't know, they just disappeared.
True.
I think I used to play with just doll hair.
Are you sure?
For me, I was like that kind of fixation that I was talking about. It was all about hair, all about brushing. I even I don't know if you guys remember a doll that came out that was we were a little bit older maybe, that didn't have a face, that you could there was some buttons with eyes and lips, and you could press it in the doll.
The stamp ones?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember those.
So, is this Baby Slender Man? Because that sounds horrifying.
No,
No.
They were these Y2K dolls. They were interesting. So you had this set, and then you could give them different eyes and lips and stuff. They were quite cool. Weird but cool.
Those dolls came with wigs, and I had mine without eyes or anything, because I just loved the hair. And I used to straight it, and I used to brush it and everything. So for me, it's always been the hair.
All about hair play.
It's always been the hair.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And for me, it was always about the clothing.
Okay.
I think for me, I liked the story aspect of it, but I was so there's two ways I played with dolls. Was I would make people play with me, but I would tell them what their doll had to say, where it had to go. I'd be like, okay, now I'd be like, all right, we're going to the store. Now you say this.
Oh.
I don't know why anybody played with me, but or I just organized them. I would just put them, and I'm later we find out that I'm a little neuro-spicy, a little neurodivergent here. It was just organizing, and I would dress them, but not in a fashion show, and now you look good on the shelf next to your friends. Weird.
No, I love.
Not you're weird.
Yeah, I love the gameplay too, and I loved how, for me, it was fun to play with friends that were also very creative, because then the coolest stories develop. And then I would I loved going to friends' houses and then dressing, undressing, and trying out all these different outfits. But I wasn't really fashion show, but it was more ooh, this looks cool. Okay, next outfit. Ooh, this looks cool.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I actually don't really remember my friends. I played dolls with I can remember playing with my cousins and stuff, but I don't remember actually playing dolls with any of my friends. I feel I could be wrong, but I don't remember.
Didn't leave an impression.
No.
I used to play with my sister, and what's funny is that she would have this collection of brats, and she would record stories, and we used to have them on a small video player or something, and the way we played was by making up stories and making a whole movie about it. So we have we have hours long videos of brats being teenagers or something, and having the worst telenovela narratives about her stealing the boyfriend or something like that.
I'm going to need you to find those tapes, convert them to digital, and then upload them to your YouTube channel.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. You know, My Little Pony.
That sounds amazing.
There was the Littlest Pet Shop. They have a whole scene that does that. It's really cool.
Well, there's whole kids YouTube channels where there's Chelsea dolls and Barbies, and oh my god, my kids used to love them, and I hated them, but they were Anya and Elsia, and they'd be like, or like they had annoying little voices, and there was this one that was a Chelsea doll that was like, Chelsea, and this like little voice. Oh, I hated listening to it, but it's like a whole thing, and I'm like, these people, and then you look at their views, and you're like, these people are making bank.
Yeah.
So Pablo, I see a second revenue stream in your future.
I mean, I'm sure it gives me more money than dolls, so.
Oh my god.
Doll telenovela.
I love. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna make a new channel right after this. I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh.
Reenact all the doll drama.
I love that. Oh my god, it's just like what's going on in the hobby, but done with dolls. Like, stop it. I'd watch that. I would fully watch that though.
So, did you guys, girls, again, oh my god. I know in
I don't
English you can
care.
say guys.
You can say
Yeah,
guys.
For like general thing, but I would rather call you girls. So is there any doll that you liked when you were little and you never got?
I don't think I did.
Except for the Barbie until. I think I remember did you have Precious Moments? Do you know what that is?
Oh, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
They have they've got these teardrop shaped eyes. They're look, where's my marker? I must, because it's how they draw them is ingrained into me. But it was wow, this looks so scary, not colored in. I'm not gonna lie. Wow. All right, you're about to have trauma, but they had these faces like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But not horrifying. So they had a lot of figurines, old ladies collected them.
Mm-hmm.
But they had dolls too. And I would see pictures of the dolls, but I'd never actually gotten one. I think you had to order them through late night TV and stuff. I think that's how the old ladies were getting all these Precious Moment figurines.
Mm-hmm.
The late night infomercials or something. But I loved them, and because it wasn't a thing you saw in stores because they're collector's items, I never had one. So, and now I think I would just be depressing. It's so sad. Crying child. Yeah, I just thought it was cute.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think sad dolls are they're some of my favorites. I love a sad doll. I think they're so cute. Yeah.
For me, it was always I always wanted to have those Barbie mansions, the dream houses and stuff, but my mom was like, oh, there's so much plastic, so I didn't get those as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Was your mom she could make you a Barbie house out of wood?
Yeah,
the wood Barbie house.
Yeah, that's more the direction that we went with at the later.
You could have told
that.
her, aren't you so artistic? Let's make me a dream house.
Literally.
No, I did have the RV. I think it was that one, the pink beautiful RV. But I think one of the neighbor's kids upstairs stole it. So because I did not have it anymore after a while, it was gone with most of my Barbie stuff.
It was your mom.
And a story similar to that. So when I was a kid, there was a moment I was not allowed to collect more dolls. But something in the market came, and my parents were like, okay, work. And those were Bratz Boys.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
I remember.
used to have all of them. And somehow, when I got older, my sister got them all in a box with her Bratz and give them to some sort of girl. And I was like,
no.
Are you kidding me? And I used to have a really big collection, so
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be stealing dolls.
It is.
Wow.
It hurts, and it's just
hurts.
crazy how 20 years later you're still crying over those dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm an Scorpio. So, we remember everything.
You're a Scorpio and you're Spanish, so
Exactly.
so it's like I remember forever and I feel the pain forever.
Exactly.
Oh my god, I love that. When do you think when do you guys think you stopped collecting dolls? Like when, or stopped having them? I guess we weren't really collecting as kids, but like maybe some of us. But
Well, for me, it was we moved, and that's where most of my Barbies and my RV disappeared. And I still think it was the neighbor's kids upstairs. And that's kind of when I stopped getting Barbies. I was around age 8 or 9. And then I just kept playing with the ones I have and my stuffed animals. And I stopped playing when I was like 12. And I remember I took my dolls along, and I wanted to play with a friend. And when we were leaving from this event that we went to, one of the adults came up to me and she's like, "Aren't you a little bit too old to be playing with dolls?" And
I need her address.
And I was so like shocked to suddenly get this thrown in my face. But I'm still so happy. I'm not witty at all. But at that moment, I was like, "No, I'm not." And I left. And then she went to my mom and she's like, "Your daughter is so rude." And then I told my mom about the situation. And my mom was like, she called out that woman. She's like, "Yeah, but you have no right to tell that to my daughter."
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
So rude. Aren't you a little old to be talking to children you don't know? Like maybe.
Well, we did know her. It was just that's just a moment in my life where I'm still like, the audacity.
Well, the audacity to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
And then to tell your mom, like, that's so weird.
The audacity to tell anyone what to do with what you want to collect or play with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what does she want me to be, like a 12-year-old that gets tattoos and piercings? I don't know. Is that isn't that even to I don't know.
That sounds pretty sick, actually. I'm just kidding.
I was, yeah.
That sounds awesome.
You don't have done that.
I think I was also about 11 or 12. I actually never had Bratz dolls or Monster High or anything. I feel like, am I the oldest one here? No, Pablo's the same age as me.
Yes, we are.
I'm 29.
Maybe
Oh,
Canada.
you're younger.
Oh, they're barely. Oh, 3 years younger. Oh, you're the baby.
You're
I'm the baby.
You're baby. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe Canada, like, we're kind of like, maybe like Europe is like this, where you get things that are like American, like 3 years after the Americans get it, or like at least in the 90s, that's kind of, or the 2000s even.
Yeah, it still is like that.
It's not so much like that now. Now we're about like, I would say like 2 months behind on things, but it's not like years different like it used to be.
Yeah, that's true. It's not yours.
But yeah, by the time, like, for me at least, by the time I became aware that Monster High and Bratz, like, that kind of thing was a thing, I'd, like, moved on from dolls.
Same.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was like a gradual loss of interest, though. Like,
I remember when they came out and I was like, "Oh, they're so cool," and I loved the webisodes. I always watched those. But I didn't get any of the Monster Highs till Generation 2. I didn't even realize that. And it was, I remember I got myself the electric Draculaura. But I only got her because I got wind of the customization community. And I wanted to customize my own Draculaura, which never happened.
Oh.
But
oh my gosh. I never even, like, was aware of the customization community. Like in my teens, let alone as a kid, like, I did not even know any of that existed.
Exactly.
I was
Same
19. I was 19
okay.
when I got... I mean, I technically was still a teenager, but...
Yeah, like, that's still, like, it's weird that makes a difference, but, like, when you were 19, like, around that time, I would have been 22, and it's, like, I was just, like, doing I don't even remember if 22 was, like, a blur. I think I had a kid, actually, which is wild. if you do the math on how old my kids are, like, everyone can blink hard at me. I got a journalism degree, and I was like, when am I going to use this? I'll just have a kid first, and then I'll figure life out. You know.
I think
Anyways.
And your kids are awesome.
They are awesome. Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I
Nice.
probably.
So I kind of have a different story that you girls have, of course, because as a man, my parents were not happy about me having dolls, and at some point in like third or fourth degree, like grade here in Spain at least, I don't know what age I was exactly, but I was like still a child. My parents decided to remove all dolls altogether from me, and I remember I somehow got some like I was told I should have not been playing with dolls, and I remember at that time, now I know because my ex psychologist told me years ago, my parents decided to bring me to a psychologist place because they were seeing me having too much imagination and all this stuff. Like, my parents were like, my kid is going to turn gay. So, you know, it was different times, I gotta say.
Yeah.
And my parents are not like that anymore.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it was rough because I remember in third grade, I bring some baby spaghettis to my classroom, and I got laughed at. And I remember when I've been bullied all my life in school, but I remember at that specific moment is when I think I realized I was being heavily bullied. And then the moment I started to collect again, if we're talking about that, I don't. Did we change the topic somehow, or we're mixing them?
That's okay. Like, you blend it however you want to.
Okay,
Tell the story.
I mean, it kind of goes into each other, so it's fine.
I think I was like 20, 21 years old, and I was going to a place with a friend that had like a Disney store. Of course, since then, I had the dolls idea in my mind, and I had the idea of always wanting an Ariel doll. Like, that was my dream doll. My dream doll, having an Ariel doll. And I remember going to the Disney store and watching like an Ariel's animators and talking with my ex-boyfriend by them about how beautiful she was. And I remember going to Primark and my friend appearing with like a big box with a doll. And I remember feeling so much shame and thinking about telling my friend to return it because I didn't know how to come home with like a full-on doll. And that doll I kept on like a wardrobe, like, and I used to see it like once or twice a week, and I kept it there when my parents were not home until I ended up telling my father one day and telling him, hey, I have this doll, but it was gifted by a friend. I didn't
Like, excusing it.
Yes. I didn't get any negativity out of this because I feel like, first of all, at that time, it was a lot of years that I came out, and sort of like, I think my parents were like, okay, we know you love dolls. You're gay now, I guess it is what it is. Even my mother was supportive somehow. And then I started collecting secondhand dolls, and from there I started rebooting dolls, and that's how I got here. So if you're a parent and you're watching this, be careful with what you tell your kids not to do, because it may come back even stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Kids, you'll make you stronger.
no, but it is.
But, like, it...
If you repress it, if you like forbid something, then they do it behind the back, or
Yeah.
do worse stuff because, yeah, just
But, like, just how about don't try and change your kids? Like, if
Yeah.
it's not hurting them, like maybe just like my kid, like my oldest is like big into anime and is like a big nerd, and I love that for her. And I'm just like, man, you do your weeb thing. Like, you like, I'm so for it. Like, because honestly, like, parents should see it as your kid, if your kid has like a real passionate interest in anything, it's like, that's a, well, not anything, you know, like punching cats might be like something to discourage or something, but like has like a creative interest, like that's such a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I feel like me, not as a parent, feel like your responsibility is to be there if your kid ever gets bullied because of that.
yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure that's not the case.
No, not so far, no, and I'm very pleased about that. But I also think a lot of parents in my generation, like, are not all, because there are like some people's kids can be little shits, and that's not on them; they're kids. But like I think most parents are like teaching like a lot more, like live and let live, like what does it matter type stuff, like, and that's good. Like, yeah.
And I feel like the whole stigma with like certain hobbies and interests that we kind of were like shamed for, our whole generation, it kind of went away. Like, people are openly into animes and other interests nowadays that for our, like, I remember when I was little, it was more of an embarrassing thing, but now it's not. Now it's like, just do it.
Yeah.
Same with, I remember I stopped collecting dolls when I stopped with my dolls when I was 12, and then I got into this whole like, ew, Barbies, I hate it. And I, like, when I grow up and I have kids, my kids are not gonna play with Barbies because they're so ugly. And well, I ate my words, because a few years later, I think I was like around 15, I discovered vintage Barbies, and I started collecting. So I was like, maybe not. No one remembers this, right? And but it's interesting when Rainbow High came out, and I was always like I love dolls, but I didn't, like, I collected a little bit, but I never really committed to it till Rainbow High came out, and I was standing in front of the dolls, and it was the second series when Bella came out. And I was standing in front of the shelf like, oh, I really want her, she's gorgeous. But I'm an adult, I should not spend my money on this. This is like, I should be responsible. They're like bills I need to pay. And then my husband just came up and he's like looking at me like, you want her? I'm like, no, I don't. Well, I do. And then he ended up buying her for me. And that whole thing just like went into that. I found my community, and now I make dolls, and it's,
I love that.
It's just it's fun, because I was so embarrassed about saying like, oh, I collect dolls, and now I'm just like, yeah, I collect dolls. If you have a problem with it, just go.
Around when I was 12, I kind of experienced the same thing, where it's like the irony of the fact that dolls were at the time, especially like only marketed to girls. And it was like, if you're a girl, you need to do this hyper feminine thing. Like, toy stores were like split by pink and blue here. Like, and it was like all the dolls in the pink section and all the trucks and stuff in the blue section. Which is like really weird. Like, if I walked into that now, I'd be like, what the hecky? But like, for something that was marketed like, if you're a girl, you have to like this, or like there's something like weird about you or something. But then like, to be 12 and also in the same breath be shamed for any hobby that was feminine.
Yeah.
Because it was always like that. It was, if you liked makeup, oh my god, stupid girl hobby. If you like dolls, if you like, it's still kind of like that, unfortunately, but not like it was. Which is kind of like the flip side of what you experienced, I think, Pablo, is like, you're being shamed around that age for liking the female things, but so were we. Like, I was also shamed for liking traditionally female things. So you just stop doing it because you don't want to be like teased or made fun of or any of that. So, and it's like really sad that it's like, okay, but like traditionally masculine hobbies, like, and traditionally in big quotes here.
I mean, it was
like,
also the time of when Hunger Games and Twilight and all those dystopian things came out. So it was like the shift of like the hyper feminine to like, oh, I'm not like the other girls. I wear plaid, and like all those muted things came into trend. So it was kind of hard being like a girly girl, I feel like.
I'm trying to remember like what replaced for me, because Hunger Games was like when I was at like I think 15 or something. Like I was, because I'm a bit older.
You were old.
But we're grandmas over here, grandmas and grandpas. But not all of us are like young spry things like Merle over here. But
I mean, 3 years.
Yeah, but we're just gonna keep it going that we're like super old, you know. But yeah, like I feel like for me it was like around that time was also the time where I remember it being like a huge controversy about Barbie causes eating disorders, and like it was just this whole yes, and it was just like, man, if I look back at the things that like TLDR, I actually struggled with an eating disorder as a teenager and young adult, but like anyways, this is not that. Looking back, being like, did that contribute? And like Barbie had zero to do with, like, any doll had zero to do with any of that. Like, meanwhile, I remember like the transition from dolls to like, I remember like teen magazines like 17 and stuff, and it's like magazines for teenagers and kids and even women. Actually, women's magazines are still garbage, but the teenage ones and stuff, like, if you are younger, I implore you to go look at a teen magazine, like look at teen magazine articles from like 2000 to 2010. You are going to be shook because they were gross. It was all like lose 20 pounds in 10 days. Like, and that was the shift. The shift went from like dolls and feminine things to be the human doll. It was about look pretty, makeup, and yeah, that was like the shift I remember. And it's like, that's a depressing shift. I much would rather play with a doll.
Well, the thing is,
Thank you.
Yeah, same. The thing, the bad thing is like Barbie, you see what you get with all those fashion magazines of the time, and still are. They're photoshopped. They're so badly photoshopped. Those women that you see in the magazines are not real. Especially, I had Photoshop classes in uni, in college, and once you learn how and see how easy it is to like give yourself a little bit more of a curve or like tweeze, like just like give that a little less, and it's so easy. And then when you look at a picture, then you know it's like, oh, that part is photoshopped, and like that part is anatomically correct, and it's and then you people think like, oh, that's a real person, but it isn't. A Barbie's more of a real person because it's like what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and it's was never trying to be a person or say like this is the look. It was I believe designed to be dressable. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was kind of how I remembered that change. But you know.
I mean,
but yeah. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, she was based off of paper dolls. So you can't give a doll a normal waist because within that scale, fabric is going to bulk up and it's going to look frumpy. So that's why it's all like it's a stylized exaggeration. Yeah, because if she's really small at the waist when she's wearing clothes, it's going to look like more standards. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, talking about that, of course, I cannot like relate to that feeling. But I will say that by the time, since Rosie and I are the same age, I remember that we were constantly bombarded by models and stuff removing their ribs.
Yes.
And
what the hell was that?
We have someone famous here in Spain that's called Ana Obregón. If you ever heard about her, I'm sure you heard that her son died and she made a baby with his sperm. Yes, it's like a crazy story. She's now a mom of a child that was made with his with her son
Is that
sperm.
That is.
yeah? But isn't that like incest?
Yeah.
She's like a mom, but also she's like a grandma, but a mom at the same time. I don't know. It's super creepy. But anyways,
How's that
she
legal?
used to have like annual photo shoots on the beach, and she was so skinny, and they would always talk about how she removed her ribs, and I don't know. I just think about it, trying to be on your girl's mind, and I think that would have been so toxic.
Yeah, it was that. It was the models, but it was also like they would put a picture of like a woman who didn't like look like she walked out of a fashion magazine. And it would be like a famous person, and they would be like, they're a whale, they've blown up recently, and it's like they have like one like little pudge. It was a crazy time. The 2000s were like, I don't know how all of us didn't come out of there like with severe trauma. We probably did.
I mean, we are.
So I mean,
We are. Yeah.
we are. We're
mean,
adults who play with dolls.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, if this is our escapism.
Yeah. This is me healing my childhood trauma here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
love that.
Life is too tough. I'm gonna go in my room and play with my dolls.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. So, you said, Pablo, about how, like, you came back. So, like, you getting that Little Mermaid doll was kind of your re-entrance into dolls.
Yes.
I think, for me, I was, like, in my mid-20s when I came back. Because I had, like, my kids, like, I was 21 and 23 when I had my girls. So, like, once my kiddos were kind of, like, old enough where they were kind of doing their own thing. Like, that sounds like, all right, children, you are grown.
You can go.
Mama's
house.
done. But
Start working.
get a job, pay some rent. But, like, not quite. But, like, once they weren't, like, constantly needing, like, mom every 10 seconds, and I was like, I have time to breathe and for hobbies. I initially had found one of those, it was like, just like a little 6-inch doll from AliExpress, and it was like real cute. I believe they're like knockoffs, unfortunately, of there's this one, it's a BJD, but it's like 6 inches. There's like a million of them. Anyways, they're real cute. So I had one of those like plastic ones, and my husband built me this tiny little like 3 where it's like squares and it's like wood. It was like the bottom one and then the side and the side like a diorama, like a room box. And I had like this little tiny room box, and I made like tiny little furniture for it, and I had this like little doll, and it like lived on my desk while I worked. And then that's where like the name Teeny Tinkers came from, because it was small and I tinkered with it while I worked. So that's why my name is so stupid, just so everybody
You know
knows.
that this is TikTok material for you, right?
Yes, it was Teeny and I tinkered. Oh my god, like now
I love your name. I really like it.
oh thank you. Like, do you know how many people though are like, I always misspell. They're like, it's Tiny Tinkers. I'm like, it's Teeny Tinkers. But like, anyways, that's where that came from. But that was kind of my re-entrance into having dolls. And then like I discovered like BJDs from there, and thought, well, that is beautiful. And eventually, after like 2 years of playing with ball jointed dolls, because I had ball jointed dolls and played with them for about a year and a half before I started my YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel was started as I liked watching dolly content, and there was not nearly enough. There was like Pinot Noir Ice Cream Bar, who was like almost not ever posting at that point. There was like Lavely Day, who like doesn't post now, but like did post then. And I was just like, there is not enough of this for me to binge watch. I'm just gonna start making it. Because like, and it was just like, if I'm doing something hobby related, let me just film it. And my early video sucked.
Which is genius.
But it was fun. And it was my way of like feeling like community, because I didn't know how else to go about it. And it was fun. So, and then, I had BJDs for about a year and a half before I started that. And then about a year into having the channel, maybe a year and a half, is when I was like doing, like I had Hollow as like my first doll. And then, since then it's been collecting, yes, but also making. A lot of making, a lot of crafting. Yeah, that's kind of, that was my...
No, it's really interesting because I feel like it's also about supportive partners. Because for me too, it was like, I mean, I had my vintage Barbie thing when I was in my mid-teens, but then it was like, I didn't really do anything with it. And, I mean, because of my husband, I started getting back into dolls and not being ashamed of it. And then I watched your YouTube video of unboxing Annie. That was one of my first videos I've ever seen of yours. That was when I freshly got into the whole community, and I felt so deeply in love with dolls and ball jointed dolls, because I feel like they are different than fashion dolls. I mean, more expensive, but but like beautiful. Yeah, and I was like, I cannot afford this, but so it went on my journey of like watching your video of creating. Was it Fern? No, which one? It was.
It was.
Which
one?
one?
I don't know, like Hollow. Hollow was the first one.
Yeah.
It was clay. Yeah, and then.
Where you were sitting on
resin.
your bed and then like sanding it, and I just saw all the dust flying over your bed. I was just sitting there like,
Yeah, no.
I was like,
I didn't have a workspace back then, and then I didn't want to sit at the table and do that because then I would have kids and stuff running around.
Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. And it's just like your content inspired me to like, I want to do this. I want to do this too. And I mean, that's how I started making my doll. And it's just, it's this, the being in a community and finding your people is, I never really understood it till I found it. It was like, this is like, this feels right. Because I did study fashion design, and I never, like, when I learned about the fashion community and it being a show business and all the drama and dirt and the...
Are you saying BJDs aren't dramatic? Like, there's no drama?
You think there's no drama in the BJD hobby?
I did not say that.
Next up on Unhinged.
I mean, it's different drama, but it's like with the fashion community, like the fashion world, there is so much pollution and sweatshops and all these like people on the top who are like, oh, I'm so great, like all those big labels, and I always, as a little person, was like, oh, I aspire to be like, I want to be like Chanel or like all these brands, and then you find out like they're not great. These people are messed up. They're doing really, really bad things, and also the sustainable aspect of it is really bad, and then also how they treat animal products like mulling and stuff. I'm not going to get into detail about that, but it just made me so upset and how models are being treated that I was like, I cannot I cannot work in the fashion industry. But why did I learn this and spend all this money and time and sweat and tears on this degree and not do anything with it? And then I created my own little models.
Wow, don't know what that's like.
I mean,
it's just...
Hey, no, yours is in marketing, Pablo. Like, that works. Like, at least with dolls and stuff. Like,
I mean, at the end of the day, I gotta say, at the end of the day, I'm doing something related to what I studied. Because I'm editing videos, I'm doing social media, I'm doing, like, content. It may not be the best in the world, or I may be doing the most intricate, like, kind of editing, but I'm doing what I studied. Was it expensive? Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel very fortunate that I was able to find something that makes me happy.
I love that for you. Like, I was just being like, I like to be salty about it because, like, who gets a journalism degree? Like, it was such a choice. Like, I don't know. I wish as a younger person I had been more confident that I could be an artist, because I've been like an arty person my whole life. But like, I was always like, nobody does that for a job. Like 5 people out of like 10,000 do that for a job. And then it was like, I don't know, I just wish I'd been more confident and actually study, like pay, if I was going to pay to study something, for it to be something I'd use, instead of just like, oh, let me just figure things out on my own, which is like, I mean, that's kind of like my whole thing now, is I like to try new things and figure it out on my own. But, you know, would have been nice to not start when I was freaking 28. Like, that would have been...
Yeah, but I see it more like, even like past mistakes or past choices that we make.
Yeah.
We make them for a reason, and they make us into the person that we are now. And maybe you wouldn't have loved what you're doing now if you wouldn't have gone through that. Maybe it's like, it's the what ifs, but maybe then you wouldn't have met your husband, you wouldn't have had your girls if you would have gone into, like, it's interesting how, like, if in retrospect, it's like, if I made these choices, would I have ended up where I am now?
Yeah, it's true. Super true.
I think the same thing about you, in a lot of things related to my life, and out of topic, I feel like I'm a way better person today because I'm an actual addict that has been 3 years sober. Than, like, I try to think, thank you, I try to think it in a way that I feel like I would not be as mature as that I'm. Not that I'm super mature, but you know, I would have not have had such a developed in my personal self if it wasn't because I got lost in drugs in the first place, you know? And I think
absolutely,
thinking about regret and thinking about what I would have done differently don't serve us much. And I think
it's true.
So if this was Spider-Man, the Multiverse of Madness, and we would be able to go to a different timeline, I don't think it would be as good as the one that we are now. If that makes sense. Or at least I like to think that way.
No, I see it that way too. That, like being bullied in school, like, why did you have to go through that? I got bullied in school too. You got bullied. It's like, I feel like almost everyone gets bullied. And in the creative community,
you got bullied at school. You got bullied at school. You got bullied at school.
Or like anybody who ends up making dolls for a job, I think we all got bullied in school.
I mean, it's an odd community. It's an odd hobby. We're oddballs, so let's embrace it. But it's like, why did we have to go through this? But maybe we learned important life lessons for now. Maybe we learned to be have empathy for people who go through that. Maybe we help others not to go through that or speak up in certain situations. So
absolutely, you're so right.
I love that. It's true.
Yeah, bullying is cringe.
It is.
Bullying is cringe. You heard it here first.
Bullying is cringe.
Breaking news.
So I want to know how you girls think about this, because I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and he was like, I like to forgive everyone, like I forgive the people that bullied me, and I'm like, no, like I wish those people were dead. Like, in a way, you know, I'm joking, okay, I'm joking, but like in a way saying that, being like, how can I forgive someone that was so mean to me? Like, I don't care what was happening to them at that time. I'm going to worry about myself. I like, how did you girls are about that? Like, are you like me and you wish death to people?
I don't. No, I'm not in that way, but I don't forget, like, forgive. I just think, like, I don't I will not continue to give people like that mental energy where it's like if I'm thinking negatively about them, I mean like is it a secret that like I've experienced some pretty severe bullying in this hobby? And for a while I did let it get to me, and I was just like I would kind of alternate between giving it my attention and then like not giving it my attention, and then but I've really like come to a place in the last like 6 months where it's very much like it's not benefiting me to give it attention. It's own, and if somebody is so, and this is true when we were kids too, if somebody is so sad with themselves or like with what's going on in their life, or if they're, even if they're not sad with themselves, if their idea of entertainment or fun is to be cruel, why would I give any of those people any of my energy and time? And like, because like, I'm sorry, I'm out here having a great time making fucking doll bracelets on a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, this is a good time with two super cool people in various parts of the world. And like, I'm like living my dream. Like, I just couldn't care less to send that energy, like negative energy. My energy for those people is I hope that they mature and heal and get better so that they too can have a good life and realize that like, wow, maybe if I stopped being a jerk, I could just like enjoy things around me and enjoy stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I really don't get the whole anonymous trolling, bullying thing. It's just it's the how you in real life are, but then how you represent yourself in secret. It's just I find it nasty. I love League of Legends. I'm a League player, and oh my gosh. The people are, I get why everyone's like, oh, League players are so toxic. Yes, because they have issues. But it's just always, it surprises me how people can be so nasty in secret. And
especially with you being a girl playing a game, I'm sure.
Well, I have a really bad name. No one would ever guess I'm a girl.
Okay.
I love that. I think though, like, that's kind of like interesting, like, because if I think back on when you stopped collecting, Merle, and then around the time I stopped collecting, and then Pablo, we all stopped having dolls because of bullying and some like either social pressure or bullying.
Yeah.
And to me, what is interesting or like kind of, I guess, an observation is we stopped collecting when we were kids because of bullying, and then when we grew within ourselves to be like, I don't care, actually I like this, life is too short to not like the things you like and to worry about others' opinions. We collect and make dolls despite bullying, despite social pressure, just ceasing to care. But it is interesting that the same people who would have bullied us as kids are also collecting dolls, but now just bullying people. It's weird. Like that. I think that's why in my brain, it doesn't it didn't compute for a long time that anybody could be in a weird hobby and be bullying people for their weird hobby. Like that's wild. Like
it is a paradox.
At the end of the day, a hateful person is a hateful person. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to change anything. Like, you can be the biggest nerd in the world and still be a bad person. Like, that doesn't... It's like when thinking, like, just because you're... In my case, just because I'm gay, people are going to be up to a lot of other causes, like feminism and stuff. No, that's not the case at all. Because at the end of the day, there's still people, and they still can be mean and hateful. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just for me how I deal with it. I'm a very like I'm really bad about forgiving myself for things that I did wrong when I was a child. And then my mom was always like, "Girl, but you weren't a done person yet. You weren't baked yet. You were still forming, and people that bullied me and made me believe I was a certain person, but I wasn't, and letting go of it was really, really hard. And having to move from Germany to the US helped a lot for me to like get the distance to what I thought I was, but who I wasn't. And I it's like the thing of forgiving is good for yourself, and you don't have to judge them, because karma is gonna get them eventually. It's like
Karma's a bitch. I should have known better.
You should have known better. Oh wait,
Never found around.
no, it's just it's like it's I feel like it's important to let go. And
I agree.
And yeah, like you said, don't give them your headspace, don't give them your happiness, because then they succeeded. If that person is just being bad because they're a bad person, or because they're in a unhappy life situation and they have to let it out somewhere else, and they want to get someone else that's happy or seems happy on their level.
Yeah. I do also truly suspect, so like what you said, Merle, a second ago about you weren't a fully baked person, the people who bullied us as children were also not fully baked people. Yeah. So I don't fault anybody who bullied me as a child, because I truly believe that when children bully, there's either something wrong with the social system, or there's something wrong at home, or something within themselves. And I can't fault anybody who bullied me as a child. Yeah. However, it's okay, Pablo. You're allowed to be spicy about it. That's okay.
I'm not a perfect person. I'd never said that.
I'm not.
But believe me, Pablo, I have, like, with certain people that did really, really badly wrong in my life, I got spicy. Yeah. Like, my husband, like, he was like, girl, he's always the one that gets me low on my emotions again when I get, like, too wild up.
Yeah. Yeah. But, like, so the people as children, like I was saying, like, aren't fully baked. As adults, that's where I say, like, I'm not giving the mental energy, because it just disturbs your own peace. But also, like, I do believe, this is my strong suspicion, that the people who are still bullying people for their interests as 28, 30-year-olds, I think anybody still bullying as an adult has some form of arrested development within themselves. Like, they're stuck in that mentality that bullying is fun, or they are children. And by children, I'm sorry, I don't mean 17, 15. I mean, like, look at me, old lady. But I believe, because our brains are not fully developed until we're like 25, or even a little later. Like, when I turned 25, I saw the world, not the moment. Like, I woke up on my 25th birthday, like, whoa!
Is this real life?
Oh, I do think that a lot of the people who are, like, bullying people within the hobby, I truly believe that they're in the under 25 category, and their full sense of empathy and stuff hasn't developed. And that's not an excuse, because you need to be aware. I was not bullying anybody at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, maybe at 27. No, just kidding.
No, I'm that's the good side about dolls and the hobby and the community is just, like, I like the helping each other, and, like, here I have this experience, what's your experience, and the interchange of information. I really like that. Like Pablo, was it the before last podcast, and even in private when we talked, where he was like, ooh, use wood glue for a wig cap. I'm never going back. I love it. It's so good. It saves me so much time. And that's what I love. All these little tricks and things that just help help each other out.
Yeah, that's what I love too. That's the community aspect. And, like, I really love this community. Like, I think this community is a bit like, have you guys seen The Lion King?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, do you know when Mufasa and Simba are sitting on Pride Rock, and Mufasa says, Simba, everything the light touches is yours. And that's the most of the BJD community. And then he goes, and see over there, you must never go there. I feel like there's in all communities. And in this one, there is the Shadowlands or whatever it's called. And I think we all acknowledge it's there, and I think it's just like dealing with it, or just like knowing it. You can know something's there and just not let it get to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean,
Absolutely.
I was very grateful when I started getting into the community that I started writing with Pablo, and he told me, like, watch out for this, watch out for that. That person does recasts. That person because I feel like when you get newly into the community, you don't have the knowledge yet, and it's easier to be that it's easier to be scammed and all that stuff.
I remember
I agree.
I even gave you sculpting recommendations, and I told you who was doing what, and what sculptures were like copying other people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you helped me with 3D printing.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what? I love sharing my knowledge. I remember when I started. Okay, I know. Remember when I started in the hobby, a lot of people were like, I'm not telling you my secrets, I'm not telling you what I do, and I was like, why? If you got this information from someone else back in the day, why are you not sharing it? So since then, I'll be sharing everything I know.
Yeah,
I do
it's
too.
The gatekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say, I feel like I've been a bit of a gatekeeper sometimes, but like I know that probably doesn't, in the way that I don't know how many times in the last like year I share sculpting videos, I share like a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the amount of people who ask me for a step-by-step on making and selling dolls, and I'm like, first of all, that's a freaking course. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can't just write that out for everybody who asks. Like, if anybody, so please don't ever show up in my emails or my DMs asking, hey, how do I make and sell a doll? That's too, but if you come in and say like, hey, what sculpting program do you recommend? I'll tell you. What clay do you like? I'll tell you. Like, please come with direct questions. And I will always give the information, but I cannot write like a thesis paper for people.
Because that's something, that's what I had to do too when I got into making a doll, is I had to do my research. I didn't go to someone and be like, give me your research, like give me everything you know. No, I had to go and watch YouTube videos and go on blogs and on Pinterest and see how everything works on a doll.
Yeah, I mean, like, even more so for me, it's just that, like, it's not so much like, I did my time, you do yours. No. But it's like, it's that it is my time, and, like, the amount of time for me to write that, like, if I ever made a how to make and sell a doll, it would be a paid course. Like, I'm sorry, everybody, but, like, if I have to take 40... 60, 80 hours to like create a how-to for something, I'm gonna charge for it. I'm sorry. Like that's a lot of time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm just saying like I'm not doing that for.
I wish Skillshare or Domestika would offer something like this. I know they have stuff for like stop motion dolls, but it would be nice if they would do ball jointed doll tutorials.
I mean, I have a course for weeks. If anyone is interested, I have to translate it to English, but I will have it.
Yeah. Watch me. I'll just create like YouTube. Yeah, that's true. I'm really glad that the three of us and anybody watching this who's like in the hobby or like considering like joining the community, like welcome. Mm-hmm. But I'm really glad that all of us were able to kind of like either overcome that bullying or that social pressure that we probably faced as kids and maybe even faced as adults, to like come together and like heal our childhood selves, or like just like enjoy the things we liked as children, because life is too short to not.
Absolutely.
And if you're watching or listening, if you had an experience like this, I would love to hear about it down in the comments. Also would love to hear about like what your first childhood doll is, and we could even do this like train thing where if you say like I had this doll, and then if somebody else had the same doll as you could like their comment. Like I feel like that could be super cool, and we could kind of get a view for what everybody's first dolls were. Like I don't know, I would love to see that.
Oh, be cool.
Yeah. All right. Again, all Pablo's information and all Merle's information is going to be linked down in the description. But I think for now, that's kind of where we can end off. So again, I'm Rosie from Teeny Tinkers.
I'm Pablo from Hover Creation.
I'm Amanda from Magic Babe.
And Pablo, actually, Merle.
Oh.
Would you care to do the first line of the sign-off?
If you're subscribed, thank you so much. Is that right?
If you...
Close.
Ah!
Close.
Oh.
You guys need to study. No, okay.
It's like I hear
it's
it.
the fourth episode, and I still can't remember. I know what I have to say, at least.
All right. Oh, Pablo.
If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing.
And if you already
You know what?
are, thank you.
Close enough. I'll take it. As always, we all hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.
Bye.